What's good? It's your boy Dylan with the Let's Talk Battle Rap podcast. Here with another episode of Recappables. Catching up on Rum Nitty vs. Surf with my man France. How you doing, France?
What's going on, Dylan? I'm here. I'm ready to talk about Sue Surf and Rum Nitty. It's been about 4 months, and my opinion on this battle has drastically changed.
Oh, okay.
So, yes.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into it because mine actually stayed the same. So this going to be a goodie. This was a crazy battle. This is Sue Surf's return. First guy back. He gets Rum Nitty, who has been, crazy consistent. He's been putting on great performances. He's been on a tear lately, honestly. And then he's coming off, last year with the classic potentially battle of the year with Iron Solomon. So this was a huge matchup for him and for Surf, honestly.
Yeah, that's a big fact. He did come off the John battle that he lost at the time, but once the announcement of Surf, the rumors was floating in the air, everybody's like, "Oh well, Rum Nitty's got Surf on his return, and we haven't seen Surf battle in so long." So that's they try to make a little hint like he was double booked, so he took one more serious than the other. We don't subscribe to none of that, but
yeah, all battles count here, so it doesn't matter if you double book. That's your problem.
Yeah, but this is interesting because this is the first time you got on the show before you became a part of the team. We got to talk about Sue Surf and Rum Nitty, which you saw live in the building. And prior to the match, I thought there was no way Rum Nitty could win the first round. And at least in the building, it didn't look that way, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 100%. It felt like Surf was up there just cooking him, and you kind of forgot what Nitty said, but looking back on cam, it is a lot closer than it's a lot closer than I thought initially, but I still had Surf winning, but Nitty had a lot more stuff than I thought, and it didn't get its due justice in the building. And then Surf had some stuff that wasn't as good on cam that got overreacted just because it's simple and easy to catch in the building. So it made it a lot closer for me, definitely.
Yeah, man, and big shout outs to Tim Nielsen, man, our deconstructor, our transcriber, because he got this battle out, I think, within the first 48 hours because he knew it was a big battle, and he got a chance to transcribe all the battles on Gnome. And so I was wondering when he was transcribing it, did it hit him wow, Nitty's material is actually very condensed?
Yeah, and shout out to Tim. He transcribes all this for us and makes it so much easier. But I do think that his opinion probably changed a little bit. I mean, mine did. It didn't make it a drastic change for each round, but it definitely made it a lot closer than I thought.
Made you appreciate Nitty's material
for sure.
more, right?
And then on cam, it definitely gives you a better feel, and you can, you get his whole vibe a lot better on cam than you did in the building because everybody was just so pumped up waiting for Surf that it was kind of like, all right, Nitty, hurry up, get it over with. You know what I mean? So I think that also had a lot to do with his first round getting not as much appreciation. It was kind of just like, all right, hurry up, we want to see Surf.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking to myself too. That's why I said he can't win the first round because they're just gonna want to see Surf so bad. The second Surf says, as soon as I touch down, the whole crowd came with it. Except that I guess the crowd they were forgetting they were up for 7 battles, and it's a really long slogan. It's not just a one line; it's a whole 8-bar setup.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I fell off right when the crowd started to fall off because I wasn't trying to do the whole thing. But looking back on cam, you could see Surf kind of played it off well. All right, quiet down, let me get into it.
Yeah, he's like, you're tired. I'll spare you.
I think if he would have kept going with it, it might have got
before we get Before we get into it, we don't even got to talk about the third round at this point, right? That's it.
If we can work our way backwards.
We've done enough talking about the third round. So that's one thing there. The clearest round of this entire battle, you give it to Nitty. That's already a leg up for him, right? The first round, man, his first round, honestly, before he had the little stumble, was so good. And I've gone on record saying it in the past when I thought Surf won the battle. Nitty's first round was really, really good, and I don't know, I just kept playing it back and back. Whenever I rewatched the battle, I rewatched it for Nitty.
Yeah, and I think I did too because I didn't realize as much that the angles that he took in that first round actually hit a lot harder the second time around because looking back into it and watching it on cam, I could see that Surf was doing the things Nitty was saying that he was going to do, and it like totally, angles like that negate your performance for me usually. But I'm also not usually in the battle for a URL event, so that energy does get to you a different way. Um,
Yeah, man. I was thinking about it, man, and just reflecting back on Nitty's beginning lines when he said, "I know your tactics." He like literally he broke down Surf so perfectly. Mixed in with sports bars, reaches, bodies he never caught. This won't be classic. I know your tactics. Studied the game tapes, went over all Euro steps like Ginobili practice. That was I send that one line to people that don't know battle rap, and they're like, "Sheesh, that was
yeah, I
fire."
mean, and the fact that he hit him with a basketball bar after talking about he's going to be doing sports bars, it was kind of ironic to me, but it was fire. I think it's kind of him showing that anybody can
Yeah,
really do that,
man. Facts. And he just kept it going. And I felt like from that moment on, like he just gained the momentum. The crowd was with him. And to be honest, he had the most original Sue like bar with the
Yeah, he had a
souvenir
couple
line.
that were crazy in this
That
battle.
yeah, man.
And
Like I would have never thought of that. There's so many that like you can create, and so many we've heard. And I'm like, wow, Nitty's had the one that we've
to
probably never
bring
heard before. We
souvenirs
love this
back,
shit.
that was so crazy. And like you have to be able to put veneers like that, like to be able to use it properly in that like in that setup too. Like it's not easy to do, especially to have a double with that. That's
Yeah,
a hard
it's
one to do.
not.
It's not some simple, double meaning.
His writing is just so unique, and for a pure puncher, I think he has the best pen as a pure puncher, just because of the wordplay, the
Yeah,
way he
for a
sells it
pure
off,
puncher,
and
I
how quick
agree.
he could get into it and out of it. Um, the Hawaiian punch bar, that was perfect. That
Surf
was
on the can,
perfect.
like come on, where
Like a Hawaiian punch, yeah, man. Then that's when he kind of like little he had the little slip up there, but he got right back into it. And ever since he had that little slip up, I felt like the crowd never gave him his just due because he was heating up the entire first round. It was a really strong round. But moving on to Surf's first round, which you probably feel a little different than I do.
man.
What do you think of Surf's
I
first round
still
after?
the first time I watched it on tape, I reacted the same way. I swear, I was sitting here like, "Oh, talk to him. What is he?" And he rapped for so long that kind of gives him that advantage off the bat because it's just so much material in this round that honestly, I feel like, and not trimming it like his third wasn't enough or he choked because he used all his material earlier on. Like, I just think there was so much good material he could have like just made it a different, he could have put some of that somewhere else if he didn't remember his third. Like if that was, a possibility, just because of how long that round is, it still would have been pretty debatable if he'd have cut it short and then used, some of those bars. But it just, I I don't know. The brooms line got a little gas. It's early. You know what I mean? And it's Surf. So the witches only parking lot, I mean, just all brooms. Like that wasn't too crazy. That little too much magic for your small rooms. The Harry Potter thing wasn't too crazy. But when you can have debatable battles when you 30 people in real life. That that
When
hit.
you 30 in real life, yeah, man. Yeah, that hit for sure. And the patience shows because that line didn't come in till about maybe 10 bars in when Nitty wasted no time, And for me, it felt like there was a lot of like surf bars. Like he built up a lot of them and they landed. And when they landed, some of them were
Hmm.
good. Some of them were a little stale on the playback. Like
Yeah,
looking
we've
back at the
heard.
Bill Cosby line, like
Yeah, we've heard. We've heard those before, and then uh, I don't. I was looking at the. Hold up, I'll try to find it real quick. You go ahead though. But he had a couple other bars where I thought the same thing. Like it's
yeah,
not.
yeah.
We've heard a variation of that, and this wasn't the craziest one.
Yeah, the African Bambata, Babaya, playing drums like F you, who you with, aiming for fun. I hit the door, hit the coat, hit his vest, banging his lungs, shooting in broad day. My hood ain't no Broadway. They caught me raising in the sun.
Fetty,
Like that was
Fetty versus
dope.
Bangs. Fetty's Raising in the Sun line was way crazier.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the buildups at this point with Sue Surf, they're not paying off with the haymaker. Like the buildup is so much longer now, and he's earned that star power. This is the difference between star power and I guess just being one of those guys that you have to get into your material as quick as possible. You've earned the ability to stretch out the haymaker, let it build up, and it lands. And because of who you are, they'll give you a little extra. I won't call it
No, it's
gas, but they'll
gas. It
give
is
it a
what it
little
is. It's
extra
gas.
praise. It's hard to say gas, right? When that whole crowd was kind of like, if in and out, if it was some and respected with others. So I don't know. The Houston crowd for me was
Well,
was
no,
a
I
good
mean,
crowd.
but
I won't
no,
call
I
it
mean,
gas.
and I was in the building, but I would say that just him being back in general, it just wanted you wanted him to do well, so you were gassing up certain things that were all right just because Surf was back. Not so much that the crowd was being biased,
Facts.
and I don't think that the same thing doesn't happen in other places. I think if he's in New York, the same thing happens. I think if he's on the West, the same thing happens because it's just his return in general.
Right.
URL fans are just excited to see him back. But he did have
Mm.
some and bars that got more reaction than they should have.
And like we mentioned earlier, shouts to Battle Rap Stats, man. He put out the choreograph for this
Hmm.
battle, and Surf's first round was twice as long as Nitty's, and in reality, you Surf rapped longer than Nitty. Like Surf had more material than Nitty the entire battle. If you add it all up, he just kind of compounded it all in the first.
Yep.
So for the first round to be the length of two rounds, and we're here arguing between the bars and the setups and the lines that were delivered and how it came across, you kind of got to say to yourself, "Damn, well, you spent almost two rounds and this is still
You gonna make me
close."
work for this one. You gonna make me work for this one because that's that angle. That I like the angle though because you're right. I mean, the fact that we have to sit here and actually break down the bars and he rapped for twice as long. At that point, you should automatically have taken the round. You should have twice as many punches. You should have twice as many bars that landed, twice as many schemes. You should have blew him out the water. And in the building, that's what it felt like because he rapped for so long. But putting it back on Cam, and I think I still have first one in this. If I get this Tekken 2, nah, chill. I'm gonna get this bum in a box. I'm thinking cardboard. I'm your father, but it's nothing like Star Wars. Yoda, non-spark you, splat him like a fly swatter. I'll kill you and the kin. I turn families into Skywalkers. That was, bro, that was fire.
As that it was dope, but like I'm looking around like, oh, you guys really like Star Wars? Like Surf gave us a lot of
He
nerd bars
did.
in
He
this
did
battle,
go in that
right?
route, and he was like, "What'd you say, Dragon Ball Z?" He even went into it, like, you know.
Yeah, this in the second round, but like he gave you a lot of nerd bars. So you say to yourself, like, if anybody else is giving me a Dragon Ball Z, a Star Wars bar, or this and that, it's not gonna come out the way we would like it. But since it's Surf, we'll give it to him. And I remember Cortez told us this on the show a long time ago, like when we talked about him in his old red battle. He said, once you get to an elite level of battle rap, if you guys aren't at the same time limit, like somebody has much more time than you, then it's gonna always seem like they win, right? And since Surf had twice as long of a round, it's gonna feel that way, but it's not really much lines in it. And like Nitty picked it out pretty good. Like Nitty was literally punching him, had original name flips, did the little pickouts at his style, and Surf kind of just said, I'm just gonna swag, and the crowd misses me. I'm gonna just give this little bit of the juice to the crowd. Like you remember when he battled T Top, and like the crowd exploded, and he screamed out, "Hey, Rock!" Like like
Oh
he was
yeah,
hype. It didn't it
it
didn't feel the
did, and
same in this battle.
it
Like
didn't. I was gonna say the same thing. Like you're taking all my. I was gonna make it seem less bad. Like you keep making it. You're turning it into an angle against him, and it's making it seem like you got me like, damn, Surf. But
right.
I thought that he still had some crazy bars that were just like the when he goes, "You checking who? Remember what I said about that Tekken 2? Catch your boo, tomato paste your baby face, vegetable, dot him, decimal. Your nuts trying to test a cool, walk through a metal detector with something undetectable. Long arm, Mr. Incredible, unprofessional, something big enough to stop shit like, wait, this is unacceptable. Big rounds, Ferris wheel, boy, I'll start a
Mm.
festival. Did wrong for so long they couldn't correct me in that correctional. Like the Maltese there, like that.
No, I didn't like that line. I didn't like the ending of it.
What?
I
That
didn't like
was
the ending of it. I'm
fire.
sorry.
I
I
love that line.
it the build up didn't lead correct in the correctional.
I did wrong for so long they couldn't correct me in that correctional. Like the correctional facility is supposed to correct. It's supposed to make you a better person once you go in. You're supposed to come out and not go back and it been doing wrong for so long it didn't work. Like it just on top of everything
You
else,
know
I
what?
liked it.
Since I say this much, since the build up of it I liked. I won't dock it too much, but for me, I didn't like it, and
Okay,
I
yeah,
was
I was saying,
going through the nitpickers of the world. Right? They
where's the
didn't like that
nitpick on
line
that? What's
either.
the correct? He didn't say facility, like just because he said correctional.
I don't know, man. It's just correct and correctional. It's like saying you couldn't stop me at a stop sign. You couldn't you couldn't be faster at a
Yeah,
fast food restaurant. It's like defining a word with the word in
yeah.
it. So it's just one of those like
Okay, I mean, I could see where that would be. That's nitpicking though. If but for the nitpickers, that is
yeah,
one you could definitely you could take that one up, and for it being the end, I guess you wanted to
yeah,
do it.
yeah. See, the problem is since Nitty's a condensed puncher the way he is, and he has so many of them, because he transitions between so many of his lines, one line punch, right? It's hard to nitpick Nitty because you go back to it and be like, oh, I actually didn't catch this line. Oh, this line's actually better than what it was. You'll go back to nitpick Surf and you'll be like, it's not that crazy. Like it just doesn't age as
Yeah, I
well.
mean, and that's the problem you have when you rap for that long. You have so much material. Some of it is bound to be shaky. It's hard enough for people to come up here and just rap 3 rounds in general. You out here trying to do 4, and I mean, clearly he took the wrong approach because he didn't get to his third. So it's like I said, the length of his first is really like the issue kind of with judging this battle because it just skews everything so much as far as on from Nitty side and from Surf
Right.
side.
Facts. Um, I got Rob Nitty in the first round, man. I've changed
I
my
got you. I
ways.
respect that, but no, I still got Surf. I think even with the time, I think he just had more, and he had some bigger haymakers there, and they let him go that long. If that's Big K ain't letting Surf rap. Big K time. What is that? 4:30 time.
And I think Rum Nitty, that was his one mistake, just for not just like putting the pressure down on Surf.
Like a
Like,
cup. I mean, even if you let him go for like a minute and a half over the time, like he let him go for twice as long as he should have been rapping. Like you got to realize if you're Nitty, that's gonna like only hurt you. That's not gonna help you at all. And I get you not want to be that guy to cut
yeah,
somebody off, but
absolutely.
there's got to be a limit to how long you're gonna really let somebody rap.
I mean, yeah, you're battling this guy in his return. You're the main event. This is a big battle for you. Like, this is gonna hit 1 million views. Like, this was supposed to be like Rum Nitty's like battle for his catalog. Like this could have been the one that gets 2, 3, 4 million views and really would have catapulted him. And you had a really strong first round at the gate, minus a little slip up. You can't let Surf rap twice as long as him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that it's just. I mean, it's not at that point. It's not even fair either. Like we want competition. We want everything to be. There's time limits for a reason. It's supposed to make it a level playing field, and that much of a difference. I understand a grace period with crowd reactions and stuff, but that long was just
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of I don't know, just lopsided.
Yeah, I agree, man. Um, On to the second round. This was the round that kind of had a lot of people like you know
Hmm.
tossing a battle in the air. I'm not gonna lie. This is the one round I still feel the same about too. Overall, like throughout time, I actually have Surf still winning this round. What do you think
It
of the
was
second?
really close. Um,
It's
yeah,
still a close round
and
too.
I it's so hard because in the building I had Surf 2-1. I mean 2-1 clear, like 2-0 after the second. There was nothing Nitty could do in the third. We just wanted to see Surf kind of finish it off, but on Cam the second round, I mean everything is a lot closer. I left that building like, yo, Surf could have had a body, and Watching it back on cam, that's not even close. Even if he would have rapped his whole third, it would not have been a body by any means. But this second is I mean, this has got to be the closest round by all means. I mean, I think Surf was better in this round too, and he didn't rap as long, so I think he, that helped him, and he tried to do some of that. Oh, what you said this? Well, let me do this better than you. Oh, you said that. Let me, I got some of that too. So it was cool, but for Nitty, I like Nitty's round a lot. On cam, I started leaning a little closer to Nitty, but because it was so close, I ended up going with my in the building analysis. I mean, if I give it a couple more watches, I could probably break it down a lot further. And actually, if I watch it looking at these lyrics, because I haven't done that yet, which I probably should, that would help us.
Yeah, because I got a chance to watch it back with and without the lyrics, and I'm just like, wow, Nitty's precision on all his punches is just like any line that didn't get the reaction there, like it's just it got the reaction out of me after I read it, and all the Sue bars are so original, and I'm thinking to myself like, damn, you know what? Nitty probably knew for a fact he couldn't win this battle in the building. Like he had to at least come to some kind of conclusion midway through the battle. Like, all right, this is a battle I have to win on the playback. So hopefully Surf could just deliver, and when it comes out, they'll enjoy the back and forth. And when you were saying like in the building, you felt like Surf was up 2-0 clear. And for him not putting his foot down on his neck, he kind of costed himself this entire momentum of this battle. Like you're not gonna you're gonna underappreciate the fact that this person came with a very long round that had some, I won't call them reaches, but some haymakers that just kind of fell flat versus somebody who gave you effort every round and came condensed. And then more importantly, once you hit on the playback, it caters more to one guy than the other. Well, and then not only that too,
you have somebody on a return who you think should be fully prepared at that point because they haven't been battling versus somebody who's very active, who has a much likelier chance of stumbling, forgetting a bar around whatever. Whereas Surf, you expected him to come with 3 full rounds.
I mean, you got to, yeah, you know what? You got to think to yourself too. Like, and it's crazy. We didn't even think about this when we really talked about it the first time around. Nitty stumbled, and Houston was ready to turn against him, but Surf choked an entire round in a return. and we left the building saying he won.
Yeah, right. And people, I mean, I still feel just as strongly about the Surf choke now as I did when it happened, and I did my guest appearance here on the show, but we were all just waiting for him to close the casket, and when he didn't, it was hurt. Like everybody's kind of in disbelief. It's like, no, you're not doing this to us. Like this is not the Surf that is choked in half of his battles. Like not today. This isn't not on the return. And when he really didn't rap, and then like I said in the other one too, Nitty was even like, nah, rap. Like you owe that to me. Like rap. Like you better
Facts.
rap. And he was even upset, and seeing that kind of hurt me too. Like you can't. This is his moment too. This isn't just for you. Like that's it's selfish to think this is just your return. This is also huge for Nitty, and the fact that you come up here and don't even have the material for that last round, it felt like a punch right in the gut from for everybody in the building.
Yeah, man. And honestly, something about Surf's little rebuttals, air quote rebuttals, in the second round when he just kept like pointing it out. Oh, that Dragon Ball Z, that dog stuff was cool, And then he had to get the mid round rebuttals. Surf's not known for mid round rebuttals, and he has rebutted in his career. Like, I'm not taking his ability to freestyle away, but I've never seen him do something like that before. It didn't feel right.
Yeah, I mean, and then it also, like, was it a rebuttal or was it a line he had and then he realized that Nitty said something and then
conspiracy. It could have all been engineered, right?
Right.
now we have to throw that in the equation.
What are the odds that they both have like dog schemes?
Right.
So then Surf's like, he says something about dogs, right? And then he went into that whole thing that he had. So I don't know if it was like a rebuttal or if it was one of those like, oh, he said that already, so I have something like that. I'm gonna just point it out, beforehand because mine is better.
Right. And it's just It's crazy how many people are like going crazy for like. You would think Nitty comes with the nerd bars, right? Because Nitty is so like well rounded with so many topics. and,
And
and here
he's
comes
been on
Surf.
a lot more leagues and surf. He's catered to those kind of crowds before. You'd think that
Right,
that aspect of it at least is in Nitty's favor.
right. And it's not a surf battle if we don't get one kind of reach, right?
No.
Rock Wilder,
Yeah.
Kakarot.
And I've heard. Well, didn't he say that in the 2-on-2? The Rockweiler. You crazy if you think Rockweiler than any of my dogs? Somebody said. Oh wait, no. Who said?
That's. I think that's this battle you're talking about.
Nah. Someone said it. If you, it can't be this one, is it? No, he said. Didn't he say
I,
that?
I think I know what you're referencing, but it wasn't surf. But it's not a surf battle out of reach.
No, the Reach God. Him and
The
God.
reach God, and we enjoy the reaches. They're funny for what they are, but I guess when you're reaching and you're battling somebody with this pretty good with a pen, it just there's a clear difference. There's a clear gap in it all.
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of it goes back to like John with the stealing. Like at first, everybody's like, "Oh, you're stealing," and then like after he kind of made it his thing, we're like, "Yeah, like that was actually fire." Like so with Surf, people are like way more lenient on the reaches because he was the reach god. And Surf reach this and reach that, and now when he does it, it's kind of like an appreciation rather than a scrutiny, which it shouldn't be. I mean, a reach is a reach. It's not fully, it's not fully there. It's still a reach.
Watch how I tune them up on the spot. If I see title, we don't play around. Keep K's now. On site, going download it and do the wave file. What? Rumnity is crazy. He had a whole like little scheme of like with all the streaming platforms, the iTunes and Spotify.
That was one of the better
Oh
ones of that I've
man,
heard. Because we've heard,
yes.
I mean, we've heard
This
those before, but that one was actually really good. That was probably, you know, because I mean, he went through. There was probably like four. I had to rewind that to actually catch them all. I was like, wait a minute.
he literally said, "Watch how I tune him up. Watch how I tune him up on the spot if I see the title." What? Watch how I tune him up on the spot if. Oh
The
my
Spotify one was the
god,
one I missed.
man, Rum Nitty's just. I know he breaks his brain with the way he thinks about this stuff because he doesn't give it the time to like really build up. He has to make it so like within that same
Yeah,
line or
and then
within those three
he's got to
lines.
be like, look, this is strictly like when you're writing that, you got to be like, this is for the cam. Like
Yeah, that's how it has to be.
there's certain things that he says that it's just back to back, and he knows that since he's a heavy puncher, that's where all the focus is going to be at. So when he does something like that in the setup, it's not everybody's going to get it in the building. I'm not saying everybody in the building is stupid and is missing all this shit. I'm myself. I miss the Spotify, but I think
Right.
majority of Surf's, I mean of Nitty's, bars are going to be hitting at the end. So when you hear that in the setup, you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck did he just say?
Look, man, I want to. These are my closing statements for this battle. It's just kind of weird for me to give the battle to somebody that choked, didn't kind of structure their rounds properly, and more importantly, didn't have the material that was condensed versus somebody that gave all their effort and had really intricate writing. Like it just feels weird for me to say Surf won this battle when I'm looking back at
Yeah, I
it.
mean, as an analytical person and somebody who takes pride in numbers and stats actually making a difference, it's hard for me to kind of give it to Surf because Nitty's stumble doesn't equal Surf's choke, and I've never in my life given away a round because of a stumble. I don't think that makes any sense at all, especially when it was on a bring it back and he didn't miss up any new material. Um, so that I don't. He's getting a lot of scrutiny for that. That's not the reason I had Surf winning the first. um, but I don't know. I'm sticking with my in the building predictions because it's so close. I feel like I didn't see so much from Nitty and hear so much more that I missed that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and change my mind. Like it was to the point where I'm not mad at my first thoughts. I can admit that some of it was overhyped because of the return, but I think a lot of what I
And
thought
to
was
be
good.
honest, Surf didn't get around. Surf didn't get around clearly. At least Nitty got around clearly.
Yeah, I mean by default, it's still a clear round regardless. No, I mean this battle definitely helps. It helps from Nitty for sure, and I think it's gonna get a lot of views because it's Surf's return, and I think even hearing all the debates on social media, people still want to see for themselves. And the VOD, the video on demand, is actually down now, which it was up actually. I think it was up before the strike event, maybe even a couple weeks ago. It was I watched some of the battles from Gnome, and yeah, that's not even up anymore. So people are definitely, if they've forgotten about it, they're gonna tune back in and watch this. So I think it's gonna get a lot of feedback, positive, negative. I think Surf's gonna hear it, Nitty's gonna hear it. There's gonna be stands on both sides. So this is one that
I think I think I think Nitty's become the people champ with this battle because people are gonna see it in a way like, oh well, it's not fair that well, not that he's not fair that he choked, but like in a sense where like Nitty gave all his effort, Nitty did what he had to do, and we let Surf rock with certain things that we don't let other people rock with. And I think people are gonna finally start taking accountability for things because at the end of the day, this is his fifth consecutive choke in his individual battles, and he's just one choke away from Newborn. So I don't know how Newborn can have a choke stigma but not Surf.
yeah, agreed. I mean, we went into that really heavy on the last one. I mean, Surf, what was it, over half his battles?
30%
thirty
of his
percent of his
career.
career have been choke performances with a choke. That is insane. Anybody else would have been run out of town. And I mean I think in the long run this helps Nitty. Surf has that superstar, you know, power, I guess we can call it, because he's gonna get booked. He's gonna get the names that he wants. I think his performance was still good enough to get him rebooked by Smack. I just think that they do need to make sure that Surf's got all his material the next time he battles. It's got to be a stipulation. I mean, it's for his career and for the fans. It's just Surf has to be prepared.
Yeah, they won't accept another choke at this point. That's gonna be the last one. And I gotta ask you, bro, how does a pure puncher take advantage of the sport of battle rap like this? Because I feel like Nitty and Av are in the same box with like they're pure punchers. They're great at what they do, but they can't really get a battle clearly. They can't dominate a performance, and they're limited with their aggression and their style. So what do these guys kind of do to like win a battle? Do they just let the camera do all the speaking for them and let the internet take control
I
for it?
mean, in a way, you have to let that. You have to let the battle take its course, and you know that there's going to be people rocking with you regardless, your core fan base. But I think for them to really elevate and be able to take control of battles and clearly win battles, you've got to just expand a little bit beyond the bars. And we've seen it with people that have progressed later on. Like, you brought up like Av is and Nitty. That battle is absolutely crazy when they battled each other. That's one of my favorite battles ever. But there's no clear winner in that. And in 90% of their battles, there aren't clear winners. Even when they lose, they win, and it's all really close. I think if they added another element as far as performance or even more comedy from both of them, and on URL, that's not really seen as too too fond, and people don't really like that too much. But I think just expanding and bringing another element other than the punches could help get them to that point. What they're doing is great. I think they're competing at every single performance. They're winning battles arguably, and they're hardly taking any clear losses. But I think just adding either a performance aspect or a joking type of aspect, just something different other than straight punches to kind of mix it up and give the fans something different. And that can give them a leg up, but they don't want to stray away from too far of what got them here too. I understand that. So it's really tough.
I think all they need is just angling. I think that's all they need.
Yeah. I mean, so what do we think? All right. So what do you think about T-Top then and him being like the ultimate angler? Is that too much? Does he not have, do you think he doesn't punch enough, or do you think that would,
Well, since he's mastered the art of storytelling, he handcrafts his
yeah.
matches and it works out. So he picks people he could talk to. So he doesn't pick really. If he's beating pure punchers, and a pure puncher can be beaten with just performance sometimes. And these guys are so elite at punching. If you just add one more thing to their arsenal, then they're dangerous. Because Romnitty is so explosive, and he has to perform all his bars out. So he needs a lot of energy. You can't have Romnitty go last. If you add an angle, Romnitty could do a little bit of storytelling with wordplay in the mix of it while still punching to get people like, wow, that's deep. And Rum Nitty could probably talk to somebody like, we don't know much of Rum's life, right? And him breaking somebody down that in that aspect would be really dangerous. But that's pretty much where I'm at with it, man. And I think Rum Nitty is gonna definitely get the benefit of the internet with this battle. He's gonna win the polls, the YouTube comments, the Twitters, all that good stuff. He's gonna be the people's champ. So I think this is a win in the future for Rum Nitty. He lost the battle or the fight.
Just
but
looking back, Surf has nobody to blame
one.
but himself. I mean, if he comes with 3 full rounds, that was his opportunity to really step on somebody's neck and get that clear, you know, clear body win, dub, whatever you want to call it for Surf that everybody says he doesn't really have. That, you know, that could have been, he gave people room to make it debatable, and it could have looked a lot more lopsided for Surf had he came with 3 full rounds.
Facts.
And then he just gave people an excuse, and now it's actually starting to turn towards Nitty. I'm still on the Surf wave, but it's, you know, a couple more watches, maybe reading the lyrics while I watch it, that might turn me too. So, you know, it's definitely, Nitty definitely wins the battle. The war. Let me rephrase that. Surf wins the battle.
I'm ready to sign this out, man. Get us out of here, Dylan.
All right, man. Thank y'all for listening to Let's Talk Battle Rap. This is another Recappable with Dylan and France. Peace.